Hey YouTube, hey viewers, hi everybody out there. I hope you're doing well out there. You know, today this is a special video. It's about some experiences that I've been through, and I would like to share that. One of those experiences is family court. Now, my first two videos I made, I said I was going to talk about this with a little bit more details. And so I plan to do so today. Family court has never been established to keep families together. It's always been produced to separate families and to extract money in the process of doing so. And the truth of the matter is, once again, courts are corporations. You see what I'm saying? So if you sign an illegal binding contract, that's what you're going to be facing. It's not about whether you're right or wrong. It's about what contract you signed and what circumstances or stipulations or jurisdictions you are under. And family court is the same thing. And I think it's a shame. And now I want to advise and speak to the parents, the mothers and the fathers. I mean, let's be honest. You're bringing in an entity or a group or a corporation or organization that does not have your best interests at hand, and nor would they benefit your children. Number one, we all know that growing up without a mother or growing up without a father has an unbalanced outcome for the child. Now, no one is saying that the child won't grow up to be successful and to have a career in life, but we do know that it's a trauma. We do know that it's a trauma. And this trauma, is a trauma that is passed down to the generation of this family. And it's a bad trauma. If you remember growing up with your mother in your life and you remember growing up with your father in your life, then you know how it would feel if you had children and you tried to take that parent away from your child, or you sever the bonds in a relationship between the child and the parent because of disagreements. And see, this is what you're bringing into the family courtroom. You're bringing in a disagreement on how you co-parent or how you communicate or how you act with that parent. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. Like, seriously, be fucking honest. Do you have a role to play in this shit? Do you have a role to play in why that relationship is not working? 9 times out of 10 is either you cheating, or you don't get along, or you don't know how to cooperate with each other financially. There's gonna be a reason. And if the reason is on you, be realistic. Don't act like you don't have any parts to play. Don't act like you're not the reason why the relationship or the reason why there's issues happening in your relationship and family. Don't do that. That's number one. Be realistic, be honest with yourself, and be honest in what role you play. Number two, don't think for a minute that taking the child's parent out of their lives is going to be better. Just because you feel like, you know what, you might be someone who grew up without their father. You might have been that person who grew up without their father and said, you know what, if I made it this far, my children can make it this far. No, you don't have the right to take that away from the child. Seriously, you really don't. That child has and should have the opportunity to know their parents, or to know their parent, their father or their mother. Let them have that choice. Let them have that right, because that wasn't taken from you, regardless of what you go through with the other parent. And we need to be adults, man. We really need to be mature. You're going to sit there and you're going to tell your colleague or tell your friend or tell your family member that you're responsible and you go about things the correct way, but in truth, you don't. In reality, you don't. In reality, you hold grudges and you do spiteful shit to the other parent to get back at them because they don't want to be with you in a relationship, or they don't want to spend their money on what you want to spend your money on. The responsibility and the leadership, or just the acknowledgement of where things stand at in a relationship, whether it be the male or the female, and they come out and they bring to the partner the reality that this is not working and they want to go separate ways. This is a very mature solution. Number one, why would you want to be with somebody who don't want to be with you? Why would you want to have children by somebody who doesn't want to be with you? What does that say for your family? How do you really care about your family or your children if you're willing to force a relationship with the person who doesn't want to have a relationship with you? I mean, let's fucking think about it. It's common sense. It's clear cut. I'm not trying to be with no motherfucker who don't want to be with me. And I'm damn sure not having no kids with you if you don't want to have any kids with me. And you letting society, and you letting all of these groups that never had our best interests at fucking hand. And let's talk about it. We're not talking about all white people. We're talking about the elite and the people who's in power, whether you're white or black, Spanish, whatever you may be. If you're in the elite status where you dictate and you control and you shape the way society is and the way they think, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. You do not have people's best interests at hand, because look how the fucking world is right now. You print billions and millions of fucking dollars, and yet there's poor people and homeless people who don't have no place to fucking stay. All these golf courses you make, all of these arenas, all these places you build, but you can't build homes and salutable and safe environments for the people. So at the end of the day, what makes you think that they're going to give a fuck about your family and how you should raise your kids? So let's get that out the way. And then, at the same time, why are you trying to force a situation and then bring it to the courts? The courts don't give a fuck. Once you come into the courtroom, automatically they're looking at your docket number, social security, birth certificate. They're looking at the contracts that you are bound by. The judge is only there to agree on what is most beneficial and financially acceptable for the courts, and then the parties along with it. He don't care, or she don't care, the damage that is done within the families. You see? And that's where I can speak for, because I have that experience today. I'm facing that same situation with my daughter. I'm facing that same, I've been in her life since she was born. Since she was born, I sacrificed to take care of her with her mother, who has alcohol issues. And I'll say this, and I'll be very honest. She ain't never abused my child. Never. She never abused my child. She always spoiled her, but she was neglectful. She would get drunk and not know what the fuck is going on. And that was a problem for me. That was a problem for me. But I tried, as a responsible father and one who loves his own, to work things out with her, and that was not working. She would not be reasonable and work with me. She always had unjustifiable reasons for why she did things, instead of accepting the fact that she was making a lot of mistakes and causing a lot of problems from alcohol. And one day it got real serious with her and her other child's father, and she lost custody. But see, the courts don't give a fuck. See, now I stepped up to the plate to make sure that my daughter was straight. I proved that I was solidifiable. I had 10 plus years in machinery, forklift operating. It's not a problem for me to work, and not a problem for me to make money. And I've never failed a drug test ever. So at the end of the day, I showed that I was good. But see, the courts, you see, foul play goes into that courtroom. And a lot of times they will turn a blind eye to the evidence, to that which is facts, whether it's a video recording showing what actually took place, or it's an audio of that person speaking lies and threatening to sabotage you. they turn a blind eye to that shit. Because why? Because this is about money once again. The longer this case is prolonged, the more money they make. Doesn't fucking matter if your child is suffering or going through psychological trauma. If you can't prove that your child is being abused by marks and stuff like that, and the child coming out and saying this fully, then it's just speculation, and anything else will be used in trial for the hearing, for the videos and all that stuff. But you got to go that fucking far. You got to go that far just to point out that what's going on is unacceptable and it's not just and it's unfair. The courts are supposed to be about justice, right? No. Because that bitch who wears the blindfold and got them scales is telling you that she is not just. Matter of fact, she has no vision. She has no vision for what's really right or wrong. So when you come in the courtroom is what you can make others believe. It's the perception game. And that perception game is a fucking deception game when all the facts is clear cut. And see, I've had people that in my life backstab me and get involved with the custody of my daughter over money. Money is the fucking root. It's the root. Not saying that money is evil itself. No, money is not evil. It's a tool. But it's the root to why people do evil and foul and fucking unjustifiable things for that money. And so I want to point out here that these lawyers are full of shit. Unless you pay good money for your lawyer, if the court assigns you a lawyer or it's a public defender, you better bet your ass. If the court's got it out for you or they feel like it should be the opposite, you ain't gonna have no solid representation. Shit, the first lawyer I was given was the actual judge in one of my cases in the past history, which is a conflict in interest. That go to show you. You see what I'm saying? The courts is not there to help you. So when you pull the courts in, all you doing is complicating the bond and putting more stress and strain on both sides. Instead of being honest and realistic about what part you play. If you know you fucking up financially, just say that. Just say, look, I apologize. Things are not going well financially. I've done that where I was working for temp agencies and it just wasn't going right. I admitted that, okay, it's not going right. But that doesn't mean I am not capable of making money. I can make money. And I'm talking about legal money, not illegal money. And if you're one who's messing up like that, you need to be honest. Now, if you're one who's verbally disrespectful, and you know that you have a tendency to be disrespectful to the person you're with, you need to acknowledge that. You need to come out and say, okay, my communication is not good. And I tend to say some really fucked up and foul shit that is not true or that is out of place, that I have no right to say to you. Especially when you're somebody who's in a struggle with me and you're somebody who's sacrificing your time, because that's the most valuable thing that you could offer somebody, your time, because you can't get that back. So if I'm willing to be with you for 2-3 years, that's a valuable thing I'm offering you. I cannot get that back. So don't bullshit me. You see? And this is the problem that we're having. We're having these problems within the communities. And all it's doing is perpetuating more and more undisciplined and unloyal and realistic relationships and families. The little kids out there or the young teenagers out there, they see family totally different now. It ain't about the mother and father being together. It's about what you can do to provide for your family to survive. That's a fucked up way of looking at the fabric of a family. And the boys don't respect the girls, or the young men don't respect the young women as they should. And the young women don't respect the young men as they should. They look at each other as just a means or a game instead of a partnership. And that's why there's no trust going on. And these little kids are driven more and more into violence and inappropriate acts because they don't have the foundation. The mother and the father is the foundation, not just the mother, not just the father. It's both of them. Both of them are the foundation. And if the foundation is not there, then how the fuck is the house gonna hold still? You tell me that. You see? It's all about being honest and being just and being mature in your decision making. And I'm telling you once again, these lawyers don't care. They don't fucking care. If you ain't paid for them, they'll turn a blind eye to all the facts and continue to perpetuate damage to your children. That's happening to me right now. My daughter is suffering from emotional trauma. And it's coming from a person who's not even her actual mother. She's not even her mother. And she has custody. Now you tell me that. You tell me how fair and how just the courts is if they can take custody from you from lies and accusations made about you without even speaking to you to find out and confirm whether that is true or not. And even down the line, you prove that none of it is true. They still gave the custody and kept the custody to a person who is not the relative. She is not a relative, and she is not the mother, and she's not any parent whatsoever. Now, if the courts was just and they was really about fixing families and putting things together, you think that would be happening? No. Once again, it's about money. They don't give a fuck about what happens to this one and what happens to that one. They don't give a fuck. Same thing in a criminal justice matter. If a crime is committed, they don't give a fuck if you are honest or you are innocent or guilty. It's all about money. As soon as you come in here, that docket number, social security, birth certificate, ching ching, you're under a contract. Why? Because the United States is a corporate. Let's talk about the facts and let's be honest. It's corporate. All that amendment shit, that shit is out the fucking window. They parade that shit and use that shit tactical that suits their interests. When it come down to you, the one who has the social security number, the one who is a part of the ownership of this corporation in this country, you are subjected to those rules and laws of commerce and of this corporation. And so once again, the courts is the same thing. They don't give a fuck. Either you pay a lot of money to represent you so that you do not find the worst of the choices and judgment found against you, or you will find the worst and choices and judgments against you. Because if it benefits the state more, they will do it to you. And their excuses will be, hey man, it's you who came in here with the charge. It's not us. You see what I'm saying? And see, this is when you have to start being smarter. Stop leaning on the ignorance and stop leaning on the bullshit excuses and hoping that a change will come. How can a change come if people don't fucking apply themselves to the change? Stop fucking hating on one another so much. Seriously, stop hating so much on one another. That shit is only gonna perpetuate something nasty where millions and millions of people are no longer alive and a whole different structure and system is created. Because people are not proving and showing that we can coexist together and take care of things together. Everybody's going to have a dispute. A dispute is going to arise, but it's how you go about it. It really is. There's nothing chump or nothing cowardly about a person who is being just and fair in his dealings or in her dealings. A spade is a spade. If I owe you money, okay, I will do my best to pay you back. I'm not going to try to shit on you like that. If I accidentally hurt you, okay, I will admit to that. My fault, my bad. I did hurt you. But I apologize. How can I make that up to you real quick? There's nothing sweet about that. If anything, it's honorable. The honor and the fucking dignity and the loyalty is assassinated. And it ain't assassinated for the benefit of us. So think about it, because we the ones that have that problem the most. And when I say we, who am I talking about? I'm talking about citizens of this fucking country. Citizens of this country. We have those issues. And those issues need to be addressed. And once again, I go back to the mother and the father. Stop doing that shit. And all that shit about the abortion, all of that, you killing children and all of that. Listen. Number one, if you make it to a certain point of the pregnancy, like you're down to 3 months, 4 months, that's a difference. I understand that. I understand that. That's a very sensitive and a personal choice to be made. But you also have to be responsible in totality, and you cannot also get caught up in the emotion of it. You have to think about it. Do you, or is there a relationship between you and this person? Don't have the child because you feel like you could or you feel like you should. For who? Because at the end of the day, we live in a world where you have to be able to provide. And trying to provide for yourself is already a burden you just placed on yourself and that child. Why do that? So if you have to go in the other direction, plan B, an abortion pill, okay, you do so. For that one time, you do so. But make the correct decision in the future to either wear condoms, and if condoms is not working, take birth control. If that's not good enough, then simply do not have relations with a person you know you ain't trying to have no family with. That's what I'm saying. Now, yeah, men are irresponsible. I can be irresponsible too. I never said we're perfect. I never said anybody was perfect or without faults. Mistakes will happen. But when they do, be mature enough to come up with the solution that is beneficial for you, them, and your child. You see what I'm saying? Be smart about that. Do not have a family with somebody who does not want to have a family with you. It is never going to work out well, and it ain't going to end well. It never does fucking end well. Let's be honest. It never ends well. Either the father gonna end up in jail, get killed, or he gonna wind up being successful and find real love with somebody else and wants to be with somebody else. So why would you put yourself in that situation anyway? Same thing for the guy. If she wants to move on, she's gonna find success somewhere else. She's gonna find love somewhere else. Why would you keep chasing her? Why would you do that to your children? To where that relationship is torn, and now they don't have a mother and father as they should, because those are the real heroes in these children's lives. It's the mother and the father. So I'm putting this out there right now. Stop going to the courts to settle matters within your relationships. You don't need those people to destroy your life even more. What you need is responsibility, maturity, and discipline. You need those things. If you're not learning it from anybody else, you learn it from this video right now. This video is for you to learn. It's for you to understand, to make better choices. You're 16, 15, 14, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Whatever age group you is, this is to help you understand that things can be avoided and families can be stronger if you choose correctly. And the correct decision when dealing with a relationship and children, do not have children with people who do not want to be with you, or you know is not going to end up being with you. You can see the signs. Don't act like you don't see it, because when you say you don't see it, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, because I be seeing the signs. And one of my main sacrifices for my daughter is because I seen the sign and I tried to stop it, and they continue to push forward with it in multiple ways. And don't think for a minute a female won't fucking rape you, a soft rape. And I won't even say rape, but don't think she won't force the issue. Don't think she won't make you come inside of her because she think that's gonna be a way, or it'd be different motives. It don't be about keeping you, it'd be about having something of you that they can always rely on or use for their benefit. Because nowadays, I'm telling you, you females who like to have children for money and to use them as a tool to destroy a man or a father, that's karma. That's karma. In one way or another, you're gonna eat that. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. That's a fact. I ain't just making that shit up. That's a fact. You will eat that later on. That will come back to haunt you, and you will have to pay for that. And why? Why even go that way? Why even fuck up your own life? Because in the middle of that shit, you're feeling the pain too. Those nights where you wish that your child had the father in their life and you're looking at them and you're realizing that they're growing up without their actual father. Especially if you had your father in your life, you know how you feeling? You like, damn, I had my father in my life. He was there. Whether he was good, bad, whatever, he was still there. And you're looking at your child like, damn, they don't. Same thing with the fathers. If you're a father who is taking care of your children on your own, and you choose to kick the mother out the picture because of whatever, just think about that shit. Now, if she's fucking up and making a whole lot of mistakes, it's understandable. You have to let her know you have to get your life together before you can come back into the child's life. I can't have you fuck up like that. But if you know she ain't fucking up and you just mad because she don't want to be with you, she found some love somewhere else, nah, that responsibility is on you. That's on you, fam. You fucking up. You not being honest with yourself. You acting like you got emotional problems in your feelings, as they say. Because you're not willing to let her move on and live her life, but also still be a parent to your child. You don't really love your children. All you out there that say you love your children, but you cutting that parent out their life, you do not love your children. Because you know what love is? Love is the condition and the emotion and feeling that will do anything for that person. Will always do right by that person. That's love. So at the end of the day, I want y'all to understand that. Stay the fuck away from these courts and start being mature about who you with and the choices you make in your life. If you do that, everything is going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And you're going to love the outcome even more because your family, your children have that parent in their life. That's a beautiful feeling when you can wake up and know that the person you with loves you and wants to be with you and wants to be a parent to your child and a partner to you. There's nothing better than that. And that's what we all should be striving for. If it takes time to come, that's because whenever it comes, it will be the proper and the right time for you. Don't force it and don't act like you have to make it happen when you don't. Let it come naturally. It will come. It came from me. It'll come for you. But be honest about it and be mature about it and stay the fuck away from these courts because they ain't about fixing nothing. I'm telling you they not. My daughter's still suffering right now, even more. And I was her backbone. I'm the one who spoiled her to the point where you couldn't even talk bad to my daughter like that without me looking at you like, yo, I know you're not talking to my princess like that. You see what I'm saying? I spoiled her. I take account for that I spoiled her to the point where she was starting to get rotten a little bit, a real brat, complaining and whining about stuff. But I'd rather spoil children. I'd rather you spoil your child than abuse and neglect them. I'm gonna always say that. Spoil them over neglecting and abusing them. Because you're still caring about them and you're still giving them love and you're still taking care of them. And that's what I was doing to my daughter. And now someone else has my daughter to the point where she doesn't even recognize me anymore. She thinks that I'm the reason or someone who wants to bring unhappiness to her when for the duration of her life, pretty much her whole life, I've been the one to give her happiness and make sure she has everything. And that's a fucked up feeling when the father's been proud and the father's been taking care of his child like that and somebody else will strip that away from him over money. So I'm telling you, work your affairs out, make the right choices amongst each other, be honest and upfront with each other. The karma to that will be 10 times better because the universe will give you something that you actually wanted and was beneficial for you. Like, subscribe, share, comment if you want. And if you have anything that you want me to speak about and bring out there and shed some light on, I will. Most importantly, take from this video and understand that you need to be mature and you need to work your affairs out together. You cannot be like that. And if you can't come to a solid and common ground, be mature enough to separate. Let that person go his own way. Let her go her own way. And if y'all have a child together, accept the fact that y'all are not meant to be partners with each other, but you were meant to have a child with each other. And be responsible and accept each other's boundaries. Allow him or her to live their life and have love the way it came to them, but still parent the child. Do not be difficult. Do not try to make things difficult financially for them and difficult for them as far as showing and giving and being there. Don't do that. Because once again, that's not love for your child. Rolling.